Good Junk. I'm the notorious JIM, and today we're going to be reviewing Thor: The Dark World. Now, this is my first video review. We've always done it through podcasts, so if you haven't heard any of our podcast reviews before, I'm going to go over a few things. The first thing being is I do not like spoilers. I fucking hate spoilers, so you don't have to worry about spoilers being in this video. I want to keep it to the spoiler minimum as much as possible, especially if it's a movie that I really want you to see, because I don't want to ruin it for you. Second thing is I want to explain our rating system. We do a 1 through 5 rating system. 1 star is basically it's absolute shit, it's garbage. 2 stars, it's not fully shit, but it's not that good. 3 stars means it's average, which is not bad. 4 stars means it's really good. 5 stars means it's basically perfect. It's a perfect movie, or damn near perfect. So I may do halves every once in a while. I might go halfsies once in a while. That's because a movie may be better, slightly better than what we're judging it as, but it's not too much better. For example, a movie might be a 2.5. It means that it's not that good, but it's not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It's passable. Or I might go, let's say average. I'll do a 3 star, 3.5. It means it's a decent movie, but it's better than average. So just to get that out the way, explain that, I'll get into the movie. The first thing is this movie takes place after Avengers. It's the very first, well, no, actually it's not wrong. Iron Man 3 was the very first movie to take place after Avengers. But it's the second movie to take place after Avengers, and you see Thor dealing with what he's learned from the first movie and what he's experienced in the Avengers, how it's changed him into a better person, well, a better god, and a better king, a better leader. So we get the chance to see that. We get to see more of Asgard instead of just Midgard as we saw before, or just Earth, as the first movie did. And we get to see how everything unfolds in this world a little better. And it was pretty interesting to see. Okay, the story is pretty simple. The Ninth Doctor, who's a dark elf, is actually trying to rule everything, and he's using a dark element to control everything. It's a big war that happened thousands of years ago, and this element was lost in time or lost in some kind of dimension, and actually find it. So now he's going after it. He's trying to rule basically all these different dimensions and these different worlds, and it's up to Thor to stop him. And they fight on Midgard or Earth, and they fight in Asgard. They fight on the Dark World, or whatever they refer to it as. I can't pronounce it, but it's the storyline of him finding. Well, he's already found his inner king. There's a really good storyline of him seeing how he's learned from his past experiences, how he's taken it into battle, and actually handling things completely different from Odin, how Odin would have handled it. And it's a good storyline of seeing how Loki, who he has to turn to now, how they bond as brothers, even though they've been through so much bullshit lately. There's a couple of things I didn't like about the film. There's a couple of things I really loved about the film. One of the things I really loved about the film was it wasn't trying to be just a sequel to the first movie. The first movie dealt with Norse mythology and Thor learning how to be a better god and how to actually be a better king. And the second film felt more like a sci-fi film, which I thought was pretty cool. It actually has a sci-fi feel to it. I wanted to actually compare it to The Empire Strikes Back, because it has an Empire Strikes Back kind of feel. And I won't ruin the movie for you, ruin the ending, but it does have a strong feeling of this is the next level. A lot of sequels have done this because of Empire Strikes Back. It went from just the first movie to the stakes are higher. I felt the stakes were a lot higher this time around. And I felt they did the Norse mythology kind of vibe to it, but they also had high-tech weapons and alien weapons and all. It was pretty cool. It was a mixture of magic and science. That's what they said in the first movie, but they actually showed it off a little better in the second. And it's more action oriented. I think a lot of people did love the first movie, or probably not going to like this one as much. It depends if you're a sci-fi nerd like me. I was perfectly fine with the changes. I didn't need to see everyone fighting with swords constantly. I didn't mind having a laser gun or some kind of plasma gun every once in a while, and flying ships and all. So I was perfectly fine with that. But it's very sci-fi, and that was a big surprise for me. I really wasn't expecting that. So that's one thing I really enjoyed about it. One thing I didn't like, there was a lot of humor in it that I didn't really care for. at the very beginning. Kat Dennings' character, I could not fucking stand her. I could not stand her. I know a lot of people didn't like her in the first movie, and I had no problems with her in the first movie. But this time around, it felt like she was shoehorned in to be funny. A lot of her jokes felt flat, and a lot of it felt out of place. And to be honest, besides certain little elements in the story, her character is completely useless. I mean, there are times she does push the story along, but very minimum. And I feel just her just being comic relief. I just didn't like her this time around. I just wasn't a fan of her. I really didn't care for her. And that's one thing I felt held the story back a little. Jane Foster moving on. They have a point in which she moves on because Thor's been gone for 2 years besides the New York incident or whatever. But and I thought it was pretty cool. It showed that she moved on to a regular person. How the fuck can you replace Thor? And that's pretty interesting to see her try to do that. And also, it showed Thor with a lonely heart and he's brooding and he's not the same guy we saw in the first movie. And he's starting to see that Thor needs to settle down and actually have a queen. Now, don't know those great moments between Odin and Thor. Essentially, Loki steals the show. You just want to see Loki do bad shit. He's like Marvel's version of Joker. I hate to say that, but he basically is. You just want to watch him do cool stuff all the time, or at least interact with other people, and you kind of want him to be redeemed a little, but then you know that he probably won't be redeemed. He's Loki. You can't trust him. But you do get more of a brother bond between Loki and Thor this time around in the movie, and I don't ruin it, but they have a reason to work together. I feel like everything has a reason to happen. Jane Foster being transported to Asgard is actually a reason. There's actually a reason for that. It's not just she's there for Loki to show off his crib. They actually have a reason for her being there. They actually have a reason for him wanting to have her around besides the fact that he loves her and he's also protecting her. They actually have a reason for Loki to work with Thor. And I just feel like everything's laid out very well. So the story progresses in a better way than the first one did, actually. And it doesn't feel like it's thrown together like certain other Marvel movies. I won't say any names. Fucking Iron Man 2. It feels more like it's actually organic. It's this next step in the Thor franchise. I really like that a lot. And to rate the movie, I have to say it has to be 3.5. The movie's kind of average. I liked the fight scenes in it. It was amazing how they worked in science fiction with this Norse mythology so well. But the ending fight, it wasn't as great as I would like it to be. It was a lot of special effects. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of, I can't get into spoiler territory, but it was less of a fight that I wanted it to be, and more of just a big action piece that's impressive. And I wanted more of a throwdown fight. Other than that, and certain little things dealing with the comedy at the very beginning of the movie and dealing with the pacing of it at times when it seems to be serious and jokes are thrown out the wrong times. I have to say it's better than average. It's a 3.5 stars. Now, do make sure that you stay for the after credits, because there are 2 scenes in after credits. There's one during the credits, which the movie's ending, and it shows that. And there's one that's completely at the end of it. I actually saw the one which it was mid credits that it stopped and it showed that scene, and I actually walked out in the last one because I thought those old deal was there. But it's going to be a couple of things like that. It's going to be like that, and also you have to look out for a little minor cameo that I really liked a lot. Well, you can't miss it. It's fucking obvious as fuck, but it was a nice little cameo. I didn't like the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't really involved in this movie, especially considering the fact that the show's doing very well. I felt like they should be involved just a little, but there was really no S.H.I.E.L.D. in this. But I really did enjoy the movie. I think it was amazing. I think it's the best step for Thor, the next step they took. And I'd like to see more of it. Well, thank you for watching. I'm the Notorious J.I.M. and I bid you a good day.